Now, let's talk to Peter Mathews in Los Angeles. He's a professor of political science at Cypress College and the author of Dollar Democracy with Liberty and Justice for Some, How to Reclaim the American Dream for All. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for being with us. So Florida is one of the most contested battleground states in the U.S. presidential elections. You know, this goes back as far as 2012, and it did very well for President Obama in 2008 and also in 2012. How do you think things are likely to play out for Clinton and Trump?
In Florida, it's very, very close, too close to call right now, and it depends what happens with this FBI report on the email investigation that came out. But even before the report, the polls were tightening, and Clinton was only ahead by about 3 points ahead of Trump, even before this report hit on Saturday. And another thing about Florida is it has 29 electoral votes. And that's a huge number, and Texas has 38 electoral votes. There are 5 states which have a majority Latino population. Actually, not majority, so actually about between 15% to 24% of the voters in those 5 states are Latinos. And in those 5 states, including Arizona and Colorado and Nevada and Florida and Texas, there are 93 electoral votes. So depending on what happens in Florida, it could affect that 93 electoral votes. How many will she actually get out of those 93? That's 1/3 of the electoral votes that either candidate needs to win, 270. So Florida is extremely important right now for Hillary Clinton. That's why she's there right now campaigning. I'm sure Trump will be there as well.
And adding to that, how crucial is the Latin American vote here, knowing that Trump has done very well, as some would say, in terms of alienating them because of his immigration policy?
That's right. He had talked about building a huge wall on the Mexican-American border, and he talked about deporting 11 million undocumented workers. So he's got a negative already, but it's interesting. I looked at the numbers today. Hillary Clinton is winning about 58% of the Latino vote nationwide, 58%. Trump is getting 19%. But Barack Obama won 66% of the Latino vote back in 2008. That's quite a difference. Hillary has to pump up her support among the Latinos in order to be competitive and to win Florida and to win Texas. Texas, by the way, is not normally a battleground state, but this time it looks like it's very close, about 3% difference. So if she can get those huge numbers of Latino voters, about 24% of the Texas voters are Latino, to actually turn out for her, she could actually win 38 electoral votes, which she normally wouldn't from a Republican-leaning state as Texas. In Florida, it's very similar. Florida could go either way, and if she can capture Florida and Texas, that's it, she will win this election. Otherwise, it could be, you never know what could happen. Trump could actually pull this thing off. It's still up in the air.
And it looks like the Clinton campaign has really mobilized her army of influencers, as some would say. Now, you know, reaching out to some very key big league celebrities. How do you think people like Jennifer Lopez will up the ante for Clinton's support system? Do you think it makes her appear more personable?
Yes, it'll help a lot, but here's the thing. It'll help in getting the enthusiasm pumped up for the Florida Latino voters. When voters see celebrities in person campaigning for someone like Hillary Clinton, the idea of going out to vote becomes more real. Otherwise, there's a danger that some of the Latino vote, like some of the other Democratic voters, may stay home because there's been this problem with the enthusiasm gap, and that's where Hillary Clinton's voters, especially the former Bernie Sanders voters, have to become enthusiastic to vote for her. If there's a low turnout, if people stay home, that's going to be a problem. If they're Latinos who stay home, that's also going to be a major problem for getting enough votes to win those swing states. I do think celebrities do help to get the enthusiasm going a bit more. They don't give her the entire election entirely just because celebrities are campaigning for you, but it helps to pump up the enthusiasm, and it's only a matter of very small margins now. And so if even 1% of the vote or 2% can be stirred up to vote on election day, that could make a difference in some of these swing states and actually give the election to Hillary. So I would say it does help to have Jennifer Lopez anyone else she can get. But the main thing is to be able to appeal to the Latinos on their issues. There's something else I should tell you about the Latino community. Generally speaking, it's a more socially conservative community, so it tends to be Republican on social issues. But on economic issues, on business, about 1/3 of the Latinos actually are pro-business, pro-entrepreneurship. And the Cuban Latinos in Florida are hugely Republican. So if you look at the Cuban segment of the Latino population, it's almost half the Latino population is Cuban, and they will vote Republican. So Hillary's got to get the other Latinos to vote for her so she can beat the Cuban Latino vote and still win Florida.
Okay,
so it's a very interesting community, the Latino community. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Peter Mathews, for your perspective today, live for us in Los Angeles.